I want to thank everyone for being here. You know, the Ohio game, after watching the film, as a team, we played probably one of the most physical football games that I've been a part of. And, you know, very proud the way they competed and on both sides of the ball. You know, our kids were ready to play, and it showed by jumping out in a 14-0 lead on the road against a good football team in OU. They demonstrated a mental and physical toughness Saturday that was inspiring to me and the team. Our power positions on both sides did a tremendous job, especially the offensive line, and for their efforts they were named the UB Student Athletes of the Week. The entire offensive line was recognized for that, and they're led by one of our starting senior right tackles, Gokhan, Ozkan, who is from Brooklyn, New York, a business and finance major, who's done a great job leading us. You know, some of the other things that really jump out at me is we had a number of drives, a 75-yard drive for a touchdown, a 93-yard drive for a touchdown, 77-yard drive for a touchdown, you know, 30 first downs over their 16, so on and so forth. And, you know, to rush over 313 yards in a game against a very good football team that was only giving up about 94 yards a game speaks volumes of the work that our offensive line and Coach Shorter and really all of our blockers have demonstrated. Devin Campbell, a true freshman, was only the second player as a true freshman to rush for over 100 yards. And our quarterback, Zordich, was over 100, and same thing with Campbell. But our offensive line has come a long way since I've been here. Their leadership, tenacity, being a very close-knit group has helped this team and will continue to lead this team. And we're going to obviously you know, keep leaning on them. So with that, I'll open up for any questions.
As a guy who's been an offensive line coach for most of your life, how satisfied, how happy were you, how proud were you of the group to see what you saw from them on Saturday?
It's always inspiring to see a bunch of big guys up front. You know, the leadership and the development of this program rests upon us developing that position, the power position, not just the offensive line, but the defensive line. And I've put a tremendous emphasis and focus on it, and Gio here has done a tremendous job. You know, and the first year I came here, you know, we saw a big guy, you know, with a lot of potential, and we kept working with him and a lot of guys. You know, you look at how well we were able to demonstrate, you know, a physical dominance, mental toughness in Saturday's game, that their coaches recognized that. It was very interesting to hear what they said. They said that we coach physical toughness better than most coaches that they face in teams, and it says a lot about the work and the work ethic and the determination that our offensive line has had, and we place a great deal of emphasis on that. And Gio's done a tremendous job. I think he today a lot different than when we first came in here, where he is today, and you know, and that's inspiring to me, because that's what I expect every single week from our offensive line. No matter who's the running back, no matter who's the quarterback, our offense goes as the offensive line goes, and they've really picked it up.
Gio, it's a good point. Justin was saying too. You know, it's kind of like you looked at before. Is it the chicken or the egg? You know, is it the offensive line or is it both running? You know, or is it a combination of both? But then when Devin comes in and does what he did, and what Alex has been able to do on the ground, kind of serves as validation that the offensive line has had a lot to do with the success. Just talk, you know, about the satisfaction with that.
I mean, it feels great to be a part of something big like this, and we want the team to lean on us, as we wouldn't have it any other way. And with Coach Quinn's support, with his leadership, with Coach Shorter's support and leadership, no matter who's behind us holding the ball, we just want to protect them and get the team going offensively.
Is it different at all blocking for Devin as opposed to Bo?
Half the time we don't even know who's back there. we just want to block and get the guy in front of us move back about 5-10 yards.
Gio, could you sort of sense that you guys were in a pretty good run, a pretty good flow there in that game? Do you as players realize those kinds of things when you're in the middle of it?
Oh, definitely. We prepared. We had a great preparation within the week. The game plan was there. It was set. The scheme's all in the right order, and we were ready to play for that game. And everything fell apart for us on the offensive line just in the right way, and we just worked at it together.
statistics can say, you know, whatever you want them to say. I mean, we can, I'm in the business and make them say what you want them to say, I guess. But, you know, when you look at what you guys have done statistically against some teams, certainly last game, certainly in the UConn game, do you get the feeling that, like, it's just a matter of time here, this breakthrough, that there's an inevitability to
definitely.
You know,
it's just we've gotten closer and closer as the years have passed. Ever since Coach Quinn's gotten here, you guys can see every week that we're just breaking new school records from time to time, and that's with Coach Quinn's leadership. It just more and more of it happens, and we see it more often. It's just a matter of time. It's soon to happen that we're going to get over that hump, and it's just going to be a smooth transition from that. We're going to keep going from that angle.
You know, I know Graham had said before the season, you know, talked about 2,000 yards, and obviously, you know, those injuries that couldn't happen. But the idea that, you know, you wanted to accomplish big things, I guess, specific, you know, particularly with the run game, and you've been able to do that. Can you just talk about the camaraderie in the offensive line, like that attitude? Was that a shared attitude before the season, going in? You know, we can do this. We're in it together. Just talk a little bit about that.
It definitely was. As an offensive line, I'm proud of my position. I'm proud of the position I play and the guys that I'm playing with. We're a tight-knit group, and we're always hanging out. Any restaurant that's open, be careful because we'll come in as a group and we'll just tear it all down. But besides that, we're always together in our meeting rooms right before practice. We'll watch film together. We'll joke around together. We're always around one another. You won't ever just see us secluded. And it's just all of us together had that one mentality coming into camp that we want to reach that goal, and we're still striving for it.
Jeff, Trevor's sort of the new guy in that group this year. He seems to have kind of fit right in with the rest of these guys. Can you talk a little bit about how he played Saturday and what he has meant to the rest of those guys coming together as a group?
Yeah, you know, and really what Gio's saying here in terms of their closeness, Trevor's brought another element. His personality is one that you can't help but enjoy being around, as all of them. They've got their own little unique ways to themselves, their personalities and what have you, but collectively as a group, they've really bonded very close together. And anytime you have players that are that close, you're going to be a really good football team. And that's what we're getting out of that offensive line. And Trevor's been a great addition to the offensive line. I said it earlier. I told Shorter last year, I'll never forget, because Trevor transferred in, and so he had to sit out last year. And I said to him, I said, you know, probably one of your best 5 starting offensive linemen is down on a scout team down there. I said, that's Trevor Sales. I saw him every day. Just, he loves the game. He loves being in the trenches. You know, that's where I love the game, and that's where I was brought up, in the trenches. And, you know, the grind, you know, where it's a game 50% of the people don't even know exists, but it's an area that I just love. And it was probably I've watched that game, and really the offensive line and the front 7 on our defense in this particular week more than I ever have, just because I was watching things in great detail that are great examples of what we want in our football program. That's going to get us to the winning that needs to take place. I understand that. We're good enough to win. I'm very confident that we're going to win, and we're very positive. And guys like Gio and Trevor make my time here as head coach enjoyable, because they come out with a great attitude, and they love to play, and they love to get after people. And it was an indication Saturday. I mean, they were getting after them. They were very fortunate to win that game. You know, and I couldn't be more proud of the way these kids competed.
Where does that, Jeff, you can speak to this too, but where does that love come from? I mean, in a lot of ways, it's probably the most, you know, playing offensive line is probably the most thankless position on the field. You know, I mean, things don't go well, you go to the sack, and people point to it. You know, you don't make the tackles, you don't get in the end zone. You know, where does the love of just being in the trenches come from?
It's got to come from the running backs and the quarterbacks' mothers. Okay, that's where the love comes from, because we know how important their boys are to moms and dads out there. And you know, and the offensive line is certainly that position. It's a team within the team. But go ahead, Gio. You can answer.
Like Coach Quinn said, like they could. All the guys just couldn't be more thankful. Like protecting Zordich, making lanes for Bo. They're very thankful into it, and we just like playing. And there's nothing better than finishing the person onto the ground and be like, hey, I'm going to do that to you again next play too.
Hey, Coach, you talked about getting a signature victory on the Fred Jackson show I watched last night.
Yeah.
But last year you could have gotten that signature victory against Northern. Kind of talk about last year's game.
Right. Well, certainly, the way our kids competed for 4 quarters, that's always the mentality. That's how we're evaluating ourselves, and that's the identity we want to bring every day. And these guys are cultivating that here in our program, is that we're going to be a team that's going to compete for 4 quarters. What's disappointing was that at the end of the game, we were ready to tie it up. But I think it gave our kids a lot of confidence to know that you can play. Last year, we beat OU, who was one of the teams that competed for the MAC championship, and then, obviously getting that close to Northern, who was the other team. We know this is an outstanding football team we face. We got to stop their quarterback. Jordan Lynch is an outstanding football player. Matter of fact, when I was at Cincinnati, recruiting up in Chicago, he's from Mount Carmel High School out of Chicago, coached by a great football coach in Frank Lenti. And I was really advocating for Jordan. I loved him. I just thought there was a lot of things there that I was seeing, just his character, his passion and love for the game. And then when he went to Northern, I thought that was a great fit for him from that standpoint. And now just look at what he's been able to do. I mean, he's primarily their offense. He's their leading rusher, leading thrower. He's the guy we have to stop. But he's got other guys around him that do a good job. But we have to go, on the road for the 3rd straight week, which is fine. We don't, we don't look at that. We've got that routine down as good as anybody. But it's a very good opponent, and we talk about our goals and objectives to competing for a MAC championship. And regardless of what's happened, yesterday or a week ago or last game, we've got to get ourselves ready to compete at the highest level against Northern. And we do the things we did Saturday, and we're more focused, and we concentrate better on the things that matter more than anything, and that's taking care of the ball and the little things and special teams and costly penalties. Those are the things that held us back, and try to get some shorter fields. We're driving the ball 81 yards to OU's 52. That's a big difference in the game, and so they benefited from that, and they took advantage of it. We gotta put ourselves in that situation by being sound and fundamental, and our players executing the jobs that they're responsible to executing, and you're going to get a win. And this is no different approach. We're not changing our approach. We're good enough to win, like I said. We're going to continue to be positive and confident with our football team, and this is going to be another tremendous test for our program to go on the road and measure up against the defending MAC champs. And you can't do it unless you beat them one play at a time.
You chime in on that a little bit, getting that signature victory.
Oh, definitely. Last year it was a heartbreaker to lose to them by a point and everything, but they are a good team. We just got to come out and execute against them this week, and we're going to prepare like we've been preparing for for this whole year. It's just going to be one of those games where we're just going to have to take one play at a time and just beat them every single play. And that just comes down to being focused mentally and physically.
Gio, some teams or some players may have looked at playing Ohio and Northern, the 2 division winners from here, go back-to-back, and been sort of, wow, those are going to be tough games. But the way that you played against both of them last year, how much has that helped you? Did it help you Saturday, and will it help you this week?
Definitely. One phrase that I like to hear during practice every day is we respect everyone, but we don't fear anyone. And that'll sum it all up for you.
So what's the difference between Lynch and Harnish? I mean, you guys did a pretty good job containing Harnish as a runner last year. What's the difference between?
Boy, I think they're both very similar. Very productive, very explosive. Tremendous competitors. They have a nice scheme that fits their talents and what they want to do. But it's going to be a very similar situation. We know we have to. Look, you're not going to stop Jordan Lynch, okay, unless he's on the sidelines, which that's not going to happen. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to, to develop a game plan, and Tepper knows how important that is. As Bill did last year, we did a great job. But offensively, we got to continue putting points on the board. We got to keep our defense out of those situations, so those guys, their offense is on the sideline, our offense is on the field, and we have to be able to do that in order for us to put ourselves in position. But it's going to, I fully anticipate a great battle by both teams, hard coaching. Both coaching staffs are going to coach hard and get them ready. But, we have to make sure that we stop Jordan Lynch. He's the main producer on that offense, and their offensive line does a good job. But that's really where our focus is to stop Lynch. He's good with the option, the zone reads, all that kind of stuff. But they're it's going to pit the top two rushing offenses in the league against each other.
I think Pete Lembo was saying that they used, before they played him, that they use a number of personnel packages on the offense end. Is that something? Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah, yeah. They're multiple, and as we are, we
more
try.
Than you had seen maybe out of any team.
Well, and again, I'm not sure who Ball State's played against, but we feel very confident in our ability to get the right calls, the right sound fundamental schemes to match up personnel and formational structures that we have to look at and see what they're trying to do. But every game, it's interesting because they come out with something new that they haven't shown, which is great. Those are things that I believe in completely. Those are specialty plays in a game that can certainly trigger and provoke some motivation and momentum on your side, and that's what I'm all about. Okay, there's no gimmicks in this game. Okay, period. It's all about specialties and trying to get your kids to execute those things, and they've been able to do that as well as us. And so, it's going to be a battle. All three phases again, as you know. It's going to be another great road test, and they're a very formidable opponent, well coached, play hard, and we got to do a good job against all their different looks and whoever they put on the field. They're only going to have 11, so they can't have more than that, and we're going to be ready to compete.
Where do you guys stand injury-wise?
We were very fortunate, this week. No new, situations that that we haven't dealt with already. We're in the same situation. The good thing is, and I know I've said it, Bo's day to day, but he's doing more than he was doing even last week. We had him out there again yesterday, so he's progressing. As you know, sometimes these things take a little longer than we expect, and we would like to get him back in there. But after yesterday, it looked a lot better than it did even Saturday. We were feeling really good about where he was at. But when you look at guys like Devin Campbell who can come in and step up, it's a great sign. Know that we're recruiting the right kind of guys, that we're getting the right kind of play and production out of those kids. They're stepping up, that next bowling mentality. Think about that. I mean, here's a true freshman now rushing for 160 yards and totaling over 180 yards in all-purpose yards. I mean, what a tremendous success. But a lot of that is because he's playing four ball, and he knows how important that is. Miri will get him back. He was, he just wasn't ready to go 100%. But, he looked a lot better yesterday, too. So, really, those are the main two guys at this point.
Jeff, you've mentioned this program being on the cusp of being ready to win big. Do you feel like it's those little things you mentioned before that are consistently kind of holding you back a little bit from that?
Well, certainly those are the little difficult things, I just want to win by 1 point or more, okay? That's it. At the end of the day, that's really the main focus here. But it's certainly the focus and the concentration level. As you've heard from one of our top senior leaders here today, he feels good about everything that we're doing. They know they're close. Look, at halftime I told them, you're out playing them, you're out competing them, you're doing all the things that we asked you to do. Just focus on taking care of the ball. Continue doing what we ask you to do in terms of the schemes and the structure, and good things will happen. Quit worrying about the scoreboard. That does not dictate what happens on the field. And I try to get that mentality across to every single player in that room. And I'm dealing with 66 young men, plus coaches, and then in the total scheme, 105. Just go play, because you love to play the game. You know, do what you're asked to do. We've got great schemes, and good things will happen. You know, we're good enough to win. We're going to be positive. That's the way I am as a coach, and have confidence and prepare for victory, and it's going to come.
Joe, how tough is it when you play as well as you did, and then at the end of the day you don't get the ultimate reward, which is a win? How tough is it to get geared up and get ready to go again after playing so well and get knocked down like that?
Tough is always a thing hard thing to come by, but you know what? It keeps you hungry. Every week you stay prepared. You want to get prepared for the next week just as hard as you were the last week. And the best part is our team stays hungry for the next game. Yeah, we lost the game, but you know what? It's getting closer and closer, and we're very close to getting over that hump and start and to continue to winning, and that's what it keeps us very hungry to get to that point of starting to win more.
Quarterback situation, you know, just talk about where it stands right now. We talked about this in the past with Alex and the legs and what it gives to everything. You know, the accuracy is, I mean, is that a trade-off you feel, you know, you're making at this point, you're willing to make at this point?
Well, we don't want to trade off one for the other. We want them both to be very effective and productive, you know, and we'll continue working with Alex for his accuracy, and he's improved, you know, from that Kent State game. And I think that's one of the reasons why he is the best fit to run our total package. But we also know that late in the game, you know, we felt going with Joe was the right move in that situation, and you saw some good things, you know, out of Joe, and that's a good problem to have. You have guys in there that are competing and getting better each and every day. But Zordich gives us our best chance. You look at what he's producing in total yards, rushing the ball and running and throwing the ball, and you know, just his decision making and getting us out of some jams. I mean, there was one play early in the game. We had a 3rd and 2, okay, and we were running a quick read play that the defensive nose guard came through there ready to blow that thing up, and I mean, what a tremendous job that Zordich did in that moment. But that's what you know. There is no issue there. Zordich is our starting quarterback. But as I've said many times, we have to always, as coaches, then it's my responsibility to make sure that we have the right schemes, we're utilizing all the right schemes at the right time, be smart in our play calling, but be aggressive, and get our players to execute and utilize personnel to give you the best chance to win. This is all, you know, and the team knows this, is that I'm here to help these young men win football games, and whoever that is out there is gonna do that. And Joe was ready to go, and Zordich is, I mean, what a gutsy, tough player he is, and we're just gonna keep working hard on getting him to just be a little bit more accurate on some of his throws. He's accurate, but just be more consistent with those accurate throws. And him understanding. He's played 5 starting games. He started 5 games. And when you run a quarterback as much as we're doing with him, you know, I mean, he's being asked to go back and drop back after, you know, getting banged by 3 or 4 D linemen, you know, and then get back up and throw a ball, you know, and those are things that he's getting more and more used to and more comfortable doing. So, you know, I couldn't be more proud of the work he's done. He's provided us a tremendous amount of leadership, and he's a winner. And that's why our football team continues to grow and get better. But I like Joe, I like Alex, and Zordich is going to continue being our quarterback.
So does that mean, like in a similar situation to last week, Alex will get the chance to finish the game and try to pull the team out of it?
Well, you know, it's interesting because, you know, Joe went down for a brief moment in that game, and then Zordich stepped right back in and completed a big-time deep ball, and Cordero Dixon catching it back on the, you know, the 1-yard line. And, I mean, Zordich gets right to the line of scrimmage and calls a quick quarterback sneak, you know. They had to review, but, I mean, you talk about a young man who's locked in all the time. We need to make sure that, you know, we continue putting our players in the best position to help this team win. And they understand that and they respect that. And both of them are quality young men. But Zordich is going to continue being that guy. And you just don't know. You don't want to say, hey, this guy's going to take this many reps, this many reps. We're going to continue allowing George to lead our offense because he's our best bet for doing that. And if we feel we need to bring Joe in there, just like Saturday, we're not going to hesitate doing that. That's the right choice. That's the right thing to do to help our football team win.
Gio, from an academic standpoint, how tough is it to play 3 road games in a row?
It is tough, but as a senior, it's the way our academics is set up. I have that 5th year, so I'm taking two senior level classes, and that's all I have left. But you know what? We do get everything done. Coach Quinn and all the coaches do a great job of staying on top of us, of getting all our work done. So we're not leaving to the last minute. We are going to classes and getting all our work done, and make sure we have all of our work done before we head out onto the road, because academics is just as important as winning games for us, and we pride ourselves on graduating all of our players on time.